we are all about measurable marketing efforts, and brand awareness is not really measurable. But we can't ignore the fact that lots of business owners want to know how to make their brand more noticeable and more noticed.
Well, I think my challenge with it is that new agents or new people to the industry, and actually new businesses, full stop, believe that if you sponsor something or you put a sign up or you put your brand on your car, you are going to get business, and that is a bit of naive thinking. It's not that easy. If it was that easy, it would be we'd all be extremely wealthy. So brand awareness needs to, in my opinion, needs to be a byproduct of some money you've spent to get direct leads. So when we say direct, that I can send a letter to you to say, are you going to sell your house? And you either pick up the phone to me or not, and I can measure that. I know I've sent it to you. If I have my car branded and I drive past you, I don't count all the cars going past me and then go, right, I've passed 1,000 cars today and no one's called, or I've passed 10,000 cars this month and one person's called. You can't measure it. So you can be throwing money away that you can't measure. Your business gets to a point where you can start testing certain areas for brand awareness to see what impact it has. Does it make valuations come easier? Does it make your letters response higher, etc.? But what we're talking about today is, I think, I see content as a platform to your business. And what we're trying to say here is that the purpose of the brand awareness tactics we're talking about isn't just brand awareness, it's to help everything else. It's a free of extremely low cost way of setting a solid platform to your business so you can go and do all the other activities we tell you about that'll have a bigger impact.
Yes.
That all makes sense.
It does, yes. I think you've explained that really well. The word I think is missing from when we talk about brand awareness is context. So if you look at, so you and I have both listened to or read the Shoe Dog, haven't we, by Phil Knight.
It's a very good book.
Yeah, it's really good. We really
You don't learn much,
that.
but it's a great story.
I think you do learn. I bet if you listen to it again, you'd learn.
It made me only buy Nike and no longer buy
Really?
Adidas. I don't know why.
And
Because actually, it should turn you off Nike, if anything.
Yeah. Well, I liked him in the story.
Yeah, I did.
There's a big context, a big story around him, isn't there? And even to the end of the story, which is really, really personal and quite difficult to listen to. So it made me like him more, which makes you like the brand more. So what I think that book did is it provided context. But if you just saw the swoosh on a pair of shoes now, you go, oh, that's Nike. But what they've earned the right to do is only put the swoosh on, knowing that they've got 40, 50, 60 years of context surrounding the brand that they had to build on. So when they first introduced, if it wasn't even called Nike, but let's just say it was, way back when, and they, Phil and his business partner took the new running shoe that they had created with an iron, I think, hadn't they, to running tracks. And so what they were the runners brand for the first time. They had
Was it blue ribbon?
Something like that, wasn't it?
Blue ribbon.
Yeah. And so a bit like Pete Bland Sports, where we live, they're the runners brand. So when you see a Pete Bland van, you think of somebody who is dedicated to runners, who sponsors a lot of the local races, who's always there to answer any questions for you. You feel like decades and generations of runners have been there before you to help them give you the best advice. So therefore, if you were just to see the Pete Bland logo, it's got so much context to it, so much richness that they have earned the right to advertise that on its own. I don't think most estate agency brands these days put enough work into that context and that story. You can't really, for most estate agency brands, look at the brand and go, oh, that's the brand who does this, or they only do that, or they're really good at such and such. I don't think there's enough context and a story to it. So I feel like what we've done in the last 8 years is we've provided a context and a story to our brand that has given us the right to just have it as a word, a sign, a banner, whatever. because we've put the work in. So if this is you listening to this, we're going to give you 5 ways of putting the work in and developing that story behind the scenes and visually for people to notice you, so that people know what you stand for. Because I think that is missing.
Yep, I agree.
So number 1.
Yeah, number 1 is all about ROI on your time. Mm-hmm. So
what's ROI, Phil?
Return on investment. So it's content repurposing, and that means creating a piece of content. That could be a blog, it could be a video, it could be a graphic, it could be anything you put out there. And repurposing means that you reimagine it. That could be the length of it, it could be the format of it, and you spread it across different social networks, or the same social network, but in a different time.
Mm-hmm. So, for example, this podcast episode.
Yes.
We have it as an audio episode. We've also got it as video.
Yep.
We also have it as what we call shatter clips, so little short videos. We have it as a blog post, and obviously lots of social pointers back to this episode.
Yeah, you've got ChatGPT open, haven't you? Now.
Yes.
So just put into ChatGPT.
It's Perplexity, but let's not split hairs.
Something like 100 ways to repurpose content.
It won't tell you 100, by the way.
How many will it tell you?
I think it only goes up to about 20.
Okay. Well,
but we'll try it. 20 ways to repurpose.
Yeah, and because this is how easy it is. I think ChatGPT will do more than that, but it'll give you probably hundreds of ways to take one piece of video content. So you might sit down on camera and talk for 5 minutes about the property market. It'll then give you lots of different ways to turn that into content, whether it's written content, whether it's a graphic, whether it's some stats, whether it's some shorts or 20-second clips on certain things, whether it's a TikTok.
Downloadable, freebie, one-pager, video sales letters.
What's it giving you?
Well, it's only given me 5.
Oh, that's not good.
But each of the 5 has got lots of things below them.
What are the 5? Quickly.
5 are social media transformations. Don't know what that really means. So take blog post snippets and turn them into social media posts, screenshot tweets to create image posts, blah, blah. Number 2 is video and audio repurposing. So add B-roll, convert live stream content to stories. Number 3 is text-based conversions, transcribe video into or audio into blog posts, which we already do. Number 4 is visual content strategies. For example, get a graphic designer to visualize key points so you can make things like infographics from it, or tip graphics, make slide decks from existing material. Number 5 is advanced repurposing techniques. For example, add captions to clips to create GIFs. Never tried that before. Develop email drip campaigns from guide content. Turn customer reviews into social media graphics. Create before and after posts with older content. And add hindsight or new perspectives to documented content.
Yeah, there's a few good ideas there,
Yeah,
especially the reviews and testimonials. And we often get asked, what do people need VAs for? What do we use VA for?
We asked that just today, weren't we?
Yeah, and this content
VA?
repurposing is such a simple thing to do. And the title of the podcast is Thrifty. That's a way of doing it for $5-10.
So a VA is a virtual assistant. And yeah, like you say, we get asked a lot what we use ours for. So we have a long-term VA called Abba, who's probably listening to this right now. And we also have a series of VAs we use on more of an ad hoc basis. But you can commit to a VA and, spend $1,000 and more a month, or you can have ad hoc as, like you say, $3 to $5 an hour. Yeah.
And just last part on content repurposing. The one commodity we, as business owners or entrepreneurs or whatever you describe yourself as, struggle with is time. And this is one way of creating spending an hour and being able to create 5 hours work off the back of it.
So one thing that I've always done with blogs, which I found useful, so if you're not a blog writer or an article writer, then just pick up your phone, turn on voice memo and just record yourself talking about that topic, because a good VA will be able to turn that into some kind of blog post, and then the blog post into graphics and so on. But you need a bit of strategy behind the blog, so I'd think about that first, and then you can start repurposing it, and then you can have a whole month or more of content about that topic.